Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan Flanagan. I am an associate physician in the Division of Gastroenterology, Hepatology, and Endoscopy at Brigham Women's Hospital and an instructor of medicine at Harvard Medical School. I want to first thank the iGIE editorial team for the opportunity to share our article with you today, entitled Teaching the Next Endoscopy Teacher, a Novel Curriculum for Senior Gastroenterology Fellows to Improve Their Confidence in Teaching Endoscopy. I also want to thank all of my co-authors for their work and support in making this educational research possible. Currently, fellows often graduate and take academic jobs where they are expected to teach endoscopy to fellows. However, there's really no specific training prior to taking on this role as an endoscopy teacher. The reason we conducted this study was to determine the value of a curriculum to train fellows in teaching endoscopy before they become faculty. As our first step, we conducted a needs assessment of our own junior faculty and determined common challenges in early career endoscopy teaching. This initial step highlighted the gap in training between being a competent gastroenterology fellow and being a qualified teacher of endoscopy. It also helped to determine the specific skills that we wanted to focus on with our intervention. Our educational intervention included a 1-hour endoscopy teaching workshop given over Zoom that had 3 main objectives. Number 1, increase awareness and implementation of evidence-based best practices in endoscopy teaching. Number 2, understand how to give effective endoscopy feedback. And number 3, develop an approach for teaching difficult endoscopy skills. After this workshop, we had 2nd, 3rd, and 4th year fellows participate in a 4-hour teaching session to practice teaching endoscopy to first-year fellows under attending supervision. The upper-level teaching fellow performed real-world teaching of endoscopy with the first-year fellow, while the attending was available for any necessary backup. The teaching fellow also was responsible for giving feedback and reviewing the procedure note with the first-year fellow. We then administered 3 sets of surveys to measure the intervention's educational impact, which we conducted before the workshop, before the endoscopy teaching session, and then after the endoscopy teaching session. We paired this with a focus group that we also conducted to gain additional insight into the fellow experience. We found that our method of training fellows to become endoscopy teachers was very effective in increasing their confidence in teaching ability, giving feedback, and teaching specific technical skills such as non-variceal hemostasis. We also got feedback from the attending through surveys that the fellows were very effective in following the best practices for endoscopy teaching. Many fellows also noted that an unintended benefit of teaching endoscopy was that it provided perspective on their own endoscopy skills and their progression throughout fellowship. While some curricula exist to improve faculty teaching ability in endoscopy, there's no such curriculum for upper-level fellows prior to becoming faculty. Thus, our study is really the first to provide a model for creating an endoscopy teaching curriculum for GI fellows. This intervention was also designed to be readily modified and adapted for use at other institutions. In subsequent iterations of the curriculum, we aim to conduct an in-person workshop utilizing endoscopy equipment and models to allow for more hands-on learning. We will also need to assess whether the increased comfort with endoscopy teaching that we saw in our study persists as a long-term benefit, and really importantly, if this curriculum can directly improve teaching and learning outcomes at the junior faculty level. Thank you very much for your attention and for taking the time to learn about our study today.